But did I tell you about that I was doing this album initially for my movie?
No.
Okay. This Heartbreaker was initially a song that I wrote for All the Glitters, which starts filming in the spring, which was supposed to start filming last summer, but there were problems with the script. And the movie company, oh dear, was really behind it and really wanted it to be right. So, you know, I'm not used to that. You see the process I'm used to, which is like, okay, this, let's go, we're done. And that's like a whole different thing. So I had banked everything on, this is when I'll have my summer single out, and then the movie, you know, like my usual recording schedule, but it didn't work out that way. So I had Heartbreaker half written, and Clue had given me the track. He actually had it for somebody else for a remix, because you know his album? He had a lot of songs.
That's not what a thug would say?
Yeah, that's not what a thug would do. But that was his line for a minute. Now his new line is "Don't get stupid on me." But whatever, he's got a new line every week. But he was going to use that for a remix for Mace, and that record he did on that.
With Foxy and
yeah. So my friend Tracy was like, you should play that for Mariah, because like that's really her bag. That really sounds like. Actually, the remix was of a song that they looped, you know, Tom Tom. Yeah. So, you know, people now associate me with that, and this is Attack the Name Game. And so I heard it and I was like, yeah, that's, of course I could write over it, but honestly that took me a lot longer to write than any other song on the record. Plus I did 3, 4 versions of it, so it was a long thing.
Were you scared people were going to think it sounded too much like Fantasy?
I knew that it had that same vibe, but to me, if you really break it down, it's more like Dream Lover, because when I think of Fantasy, I think of the Old Dirty Bastard version, which just has the like, I almost forgot that it had that sweet in it, because I don't even listen to that anymore. Like, if I am to listen to that record, I listen to the remix, which is really responsible for more than half the sales of that single, and really drove that. And that's,
how do you know that?
Because you look at the accounts and which account sold more, and you look at
like an urban account.
Yeah, that was a huge urban record, and that was like a double platinum single. With this single, they've only shipped under 1 million, so there's no way that it can do that amount of numbers.
I see, because they want the album to sell, so it's
right. But it sold more in its first week than Fantasy did in its first week, and I attribute a lot of that to, it's about 50-50, almost 60-40 people playing the remix. And so people who don't understand what the value of those remixes are to me, they're whole different records. I mean, this one more so than the Fantasy remix, honestly. Because...
But what is the value to you, not just in terms of the sales, but in terms of personally?
No, personally, I enjoy it so much more. I mean, honestly though, when I was doing the original Heartbreaker and Jay-Z came in and did his part, we were all like, yay! Like, we were all like little fans, like little excited fans, and Jay loved that. I mean, Jay would not be on something he didn't like. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of integrity as an artist. He's very particular about his stuff. So he came in, he heard it, he was like, whoa, I didn't expect it to be like that, because I think sometimes critics get a little bit cynical, like, oh, it sounds like this, oh, it sounds like that. And yes, it does have that. I wrote both of those songs. I have a style of writing, just like someone who writes folk music tends to lean in the same melodic or chord structural direction. But to me, the chorus is more like Dream Lover. If you think of it, Heartbreaker, you got the best of me, Dream Lover, come rescue me. It's less like sweet, sweet fantasy, baby. It's more like Dream Lover. But they're all in the same vein because I wrote them. And when I was looking for someone to co-write with me on that song, I couldn't find anybody, because I was like, you know what, it's my own style that I'm emulating. It's not like some other style. But my point about Jay in the studio was, when he came in and he did his thing, it was like, wow, like, he wrote nothing down. He did it off the top of his head. He was just like going off of my lyrics and what I was saying, and that's why he's going, she wanna shop with Jay, play box with Jay. Like, he's like going off, and he was like, yo, what'd I just say? Like, he would forget what he said, but he wouldn't write it down, and he just did it all off the top of his head. And it was an exciting record for me. I mean, people can say what they want to say, but to me, I still like that version of the song. I still listen to that song. I like the little give me your love, and that part isn't a sample. It sounds like it's a sample from something, but it just was like something that enhanced the music. I think it's cute. I like that record. The remix with Over Ain't No Fun is my favorite. But Why? Because it's just more, I like how the chorus fits over that loop better.
Okay.
The chorus stands out more. It's more clean, and it's got clean in terms of there's less going on musically. We couldn't break down that other loop because you couldn't isolate the sounds, because we couldn't recreate those keyboard sounds when we played them. We had to keep the loop continuous. So that's why it was even harder to write, because it's a 2-bar loop. So I had to really be creative with the sections and what they were going to be, and the ad-libs, and Clue and his ad-libs and all that stuff. So I like the remix best because I just love the vibe of that song. Like, I love hearing it on the radio. I think it sounds hot. I like to hear it in the clubs. I like when they mix it with Ain't No Fun. Like, it's just like when you hear Ain't No Fun in a club, it's pretty like derogatory song about women. And we flipped it and turned it around. And when I was writing it, she and everybody else was like, what was that song that it came from? What did he say on that record?
Right.
And we were all like, don't worry, don't worry. We're like, you know, it's going to be cool. And I think it's actually good because we did make it about girls. And Snoop made an appearance in the remix video. And like, he's fine with it. He thinks it's, you know, he's like into it. And everybody really likes that version. So I kind of like how now, in the days of the Answer records, the girl power records, it's that, but it's not, it's without me having to go there completely, because I'm not really going there, but just by nature of what it is, when they mix the two songs together. Like, now in a club, when that would come on in a club, all the girls would be like, woo, but then we're kind of like, oh, we're getting played on this song. But then again, now it's sort of like empowering. And even when you see the video, the way Brat's being, and she's a bride, and Snoop is she's an angry bride, and Snoop's like, what are you mad? Like, and the little girls are throwing rice at him, and like, it's kind of retribution. It's pretty funny. I mean, it's really pretty great.